2026. I call to order the Manistee City Council meeting. Pledge of Allegiance, would you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lasky.
Here.
Councilmember Keck.
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
Police Chief. Here. Roll call complete.
Very good. Quick announcement, item 9A under new business, which is consideration of the sale of city-owned property Renaissance Lot 1, has been removed from tonight's agenda. Disclosure of conflicts of interest. Any council member with a conflict of interest regarding an agenda item should disclose it at this time. Public hearings, we have none. Citizen comments on agenda-related items. Any citizen with correspondence to be distributed to council should provide items to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting or after the meeting has adjourned, limited to 5 minutes. Consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval, any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, cash balances, revenue and expenses, balance sheet, quarterly financial update, quarterly investment update. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Heather, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Very good. Unfinished business, there is none. New business. Consideration of adopting the 2026-27 Budget and Capital Improvement Plan and approving the Downtown Development Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 2026-27. Under Section 7-4 of the Charter, the annual budget must be adopted before May 15th of each year. The budget has been subject to multiple discussions and a public hearing. Additionally, the City of Manistee is required by state statute to approve the budget of the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA, before it can be adopted by the DDA Board. The DDA's proposed budget was presented to the City Council at the April 7, 2026 meeting. April 7, 2026, City Council regular meeting, sorry. If approved by Council, the DDA Board must still hold a public hearing on their budget and vote to adopt it. This agenda item will include two separate motions, one for the City 2026 Budget and Capital Improvement Plan, and one for the DDA proposed budget. At this time, council could take action to adopt a resolution approving the 2026-2027 Budget and Capital Improvement Plan. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I guess the only comments I have to make is, think it would be helpful if council was more involved in the development of the budget. We always get it when it's basically done, and it makes it hard to explain to people what's going on, because we kind of learn it third hand as well. I just wish we had more involvement because, you know, some of us have had businesses. We do have intelligent input sometimes. So I wish we could be more involved in that. I think it would avoid some misunderstandings and hassle in the long term if we were in at the beginning.
I concur with Lainey, and I think it needs to even go a step further than that. I think I've seen a couple, the decisions get based on emotions rather than data. And the data is because we're not talking about the numbers and we're not discussing them more. And I don't know that it all has to be out in a meeting, but I've asked this before and I still think it's a good idea, and I did call another town, the finance committee. And we're not utilizing that to go over some of the invoices, and I'm not saying micromanage, that's the last thing, but to just different things come up, and the budget would have been looked at, the departments. I think we all, and everybody included, the budget is available for everybody to see, and I think the taxpayers need to look at the budget more to see where your dollars are going. And I think the city's tried to be, we're watching it, but I think it needs to be discussed more. And it's available, but I think that there should be meetings, and sometimes they hold them with a committee before their regular meeting, but I definitely think that that would help. And not even just the budget, I think looking at the overall financial picture.
Well, if you think we have an ordinance committee, we have parks committee, they're all advisory, but we don't have a finance committee. And that's really,
Crux of the city.
yeah, to me, it might be the most important committee, which, it's just my opinion, but I wanted to get my thoughts out there and how I felt about it. So I have.
Well, I looked at this thing and I'm not really happy with it either, like you guys are saying. I think there's so many problems there.
I guess I'm a little bit frustrated. We have the ability to have study sessions, and then nobody wants to hold those study sessions, and then we come here when we need to adopt it and we complain about it.
Yeah,
Why is that?
This brought up, when we were here 2 weeks ago.
Nobody had anything to
This was
say.
not an issue. It wasn't mentioned 2 weeks ago. Now we're coming to a deadline, and I know you've mentioned it before.
Just on the committee, I'm not
Yes.
you're marking things out of
And
here.
I will be honest, I have, and I'm not saying you guys don't, so please, this is all just a matter of opinions. I believe we have department heads to do this. I am not going to tell the chief of police how to spend money. He knows where that money needs to go. I'm going to approve it or question it if I have any doubt. That is why we have department heads, in my opinion. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I don't know that we're trying to micromanage. I just think.
Well,
that-
I think that's what it would turn into, to be honest with you.
I don't think it's used that way in other committees. And other communities.
We have department heads who would do ordinance, like the planning committee, but yet there's a committee that oversees what kind of, the planning commission does, what our planning department does. It's the same concept, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to serve the same kind of role. It all filters down, it goes through this process, and we have that.
Maybe that's something we should discuss.
And it's not all departments. It's,
Right.
yeah, there's revenue funds, that are not departments, you have, it's broader than that. And I think businesses do that. It's just a suggestion.
And I think if,
And maybe that's what we do, is we talk about it for the future.
but yeah, I think if council members have a question about a certain budget or department, feel free to let me
Right.
know. We can look into it as much as council would like. I think that's kind of,
You get it as
but
well.
I do try to make sure when those questions come to me, I look into them, we get the information back to all members. I think that's important. And I think when you talk about this meeting of a finance committee, just kind of what exactly would the agenda be? That's the kind of thing we have to figure out, but I would need a majority of,
Talk on that, and I
Yeah.
think there's many communities doing that, and it's
Yep.
not a bad thing. It's.
And it might be something, when December, November, whatever is when the organizational meeting happens. That might be the time to solidify something, a change like that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I just want to make sure that Mr. Bradford knows that this isn't, we're not questioning his work, and that's not what this is, but that he does excellent work. And he's coming to this group about where our finances are right now, but where they're going to be in 3 years. So I think it becomes more important as the funds that we have been accustomed to over the last 6 years, they're drying up or they're only becoming earmarked for certain areas. I think that we may be looking, as Ed showed us, personnel is the biggest part of the pie. We can't cut sewer. We can't cut people's water. There are only certain things that we can do. And I think what I'm hearing is having a subsection of city council be really informed about why this and not that, or why this is happening and what might be happening next year, we can really interact with our department heads and hear why and respect their choices of the budget allocation within their department, but as well help in that communication and information about what might be coming up next.
And this budget was a little bit, I mean, I think the general fund was pinched. We had we had that expenditure with, or that MERS obligation was increased. We had state share revenue and Headley rollback, but the MERS was 114,000, to the general fund. That's a big hit, and that's already a budget that has a lot of things that go into it. You talk about water and sewer, those are enterprise funds, and refuse. So I think this year we kind of saw the general fund really kind of getting pinched, and we don't have the department heads, they submit kind of what they're hoping to do, and a lot of that got cut. There wasn't a lot of discretionary items that we could, I think a lot of things that we can look at, what would we like to do as a city and move some initiatives forward. We didn't have that, we couldn't do that this year as much as previous years.
Well, and the funds that we do get are for roads, water, sewer.
Right.
There are not funds available other than what revenue is created within the city to pay for personnel. So that's why I'm like giving Chief Glass extra kudos, because he actually found some grant funding to supply a crisis officer. That's amazing.
And it's not going to get any easier, probably.
I agree.
And the people
I agree.
can't pay more money. So we've got to work with what we've got and be prudent to them that we're looking at it and protecting their money and spending it where it's best to be used.
And Liz, I'm going to connect, I hope I didn't cut you off.
No.
Okay. I'm going to connect with that and saying, the ordinance committee has a whole, like, this is the description of what we do, and this is the stuff, like, that's not on our plate. And I think having that job description and some things that, because you said it, budget touches everything. It touches contracts, it touches things that are, it touches personnel, and some of those issues are very sensitive.
Yes.
So, having that description so that everyone on council knows, let's say you're on the committee, Liz, we know what you're doing for us.
And the meetings would be open to the public, and the meetings are, there's a committee, but they'd be open to the public. They could be attended and just another
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, so we're talking about information and not about that emotional side.
Exactly. Data.
And I'll just mention, I think we talked about this last year, and I think it's important to work through the mayor, majority of council, be on the same page about this, because, yeah, I'm here to work with the department heads to get council what they need to make decisions, but I need a majority of council to tell me that's the direction that we want to do, we want to go, so.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry, but I asked a lot of questions, if you noticed, in the last meetings, and I don't feel I got the right answers. I mean, and I know I ain't gonna get all the right answers, but I didn't feel some of these things were answered, and I just don't feel comfortable with it.
Like what, Jim? Let's get these, let's air it out. Let's get these questions answered that you have. What questions do you have that have not been answered?
Well, I think I went through the whole thing at the meeting, and we went through all we want to create a fire department, which, is anybody going out and talking to the public? I mean, I'm getting a lot of bad information on this thing. And nobody seems to be listening.
So there was this was a council initiative to investigate a fire district for a couple of years, so that's why we've been spending time on this, but there was a large expenditure for a fire engine that we were looking at, and, we have an older station, we have one of the oldest stations in the world that's been continually occupied. We find out that station really can't fit a newer fire truck without buying a more expensive one that's smaller. So that kind of led us down to, we found out other communities with volunteer departments have fire trucks. So what's the most efficient way to provide this service, which is another council initiative, is to make sure we're providing services efficiently. And so the thought is, can we collaborate? In the city of Manistee, we have almost a $1.4 million fire department. We get $310,000 in revenue from EMS. And that budget is much higher than our neighboring communities, and we're the ones who provide, the response time of a full-time department where they have the response times of a volunteer department. So we're working with them. Chief Herndon's done an excellent job of getting buy-in. We're 4 of the boards the neighboring townships have, resolution, unanimous resolution to look into the fire district. So I don't really, I know there's been quite a few emails and things from individuals. It's kind of baffles me that we're looking at kind of expanding the full-time service to help the residents and get some buy-in. And we have some former members who are of the fire department who, are seemingly just against it. It doesn't really add up to me, but yeah, I can't speak to why people get upset about the things they get upset about, but.
In our city.
Well, you have the pool, you don't get any help from that, from the other townships, I mean, very little you get from them.
And we have a contract with the pool, but I'm making sure they send us the report they're supposed to send us, before we pay the invoice. So I'm trying to make sure that they honor their end of the contract, and I do think the pool is utilized, but we do have a contract, and that's our obligation under the contract.
I'd like to get that contract where we can eliminate that eventually. I mean, there is no ending date. No lawyer wants to take the responsibility for it. So,
and if that's something.
There's a lot of things in this.
If a majority of council would like to do that, it needs to be a council decision, though.
I agree with you, Bill. It kind of baffles me as well, this whole fire district thing, because it's so in its infancy, we don't even have the information, from my understanding, to provide people. If you give them false or guess information, all you're going to do is create chaos and more angst amongst the public.
I agree.
So,
And that white paper's a year old, that's not current information. I mean, we
Well,
can't
it's evolved, and
criticize that, we're working, it's a work in process.
I'm happy the chief is pursuing this, and it really isn't, the end result isn't going to be up to us. It's going to be to those other entities if they pony up the money. And I think that's really clear. I just don't, why it would be a negative for the city at all.
Yeah, it sounds to me like people really don't know what's happening.
Yes.
They're just complaining
Yeah.
because all their focus is that we're not hiring somebody.
Well, they're not looking at the whole picture.
Yeah, I agree. I think there may be a misunderstanding with the public, and I would feel differently if I thought someone was getting fired versus
Right.
this is happening by attrition.
Attrition and not.
And just as Ed showed us on the, and I don't know if Kyle has a copy of it, but what our staffing used to look like.
Right.
And then when we constrained through attrition, we didn't hire a position that was vacated. But if I thought my friend or neighbor, certainly someone who is in public safety, if they talk to me about it, I would think that they know what they're talking about, and I would feel very strongly about having someone fired because of budgetary constraints. I think that information about attrition isn't as out there as much as someone is
But
getting.
do you know that the last fireman they did fire?
My understanding.
Not hiring
Not
anybody.
due to this, and I understand there might be vacancies coming up. They weren't fired due to the budget.
They weren't laid off.
They weren't laid off.
Yeah.
Correct. So,
But I mean, you're saying not fired, they were fired.
There-
They letting two kids go, summer employees, $10 an hour. I mean, come on.
oh, I agree. I think
I think
that's
that'd
with the
kill
park. Jim, the 2 employees in the summer, isn't that the,
Parks Department.
yeah, the Parks Department? I just want to make that clear that that's not fire
Yeah.
department related.
Well, the other thing that people aren't aware of is that having 9 firefighters is new. And that hasn't really gotten out there.
Yeah, so we've only had, this extra firefighter since fiscal year '23. So this is just kind of, we had the tight budget. We had the open position, so we're just choosing not to fill it. The
Yes.
alternative would be to eliminate someone or fire someone from another department. So it was just the decision not to fill that at this point, so with this budget, so.
Are we doing that with the one employee that just resigned?
We're gonna be posting for that. They'll be posting for that, so.
And
Go ahead, Liz.
I was gonna say the number of firefighters was just like what you said, it was a recent addition, and it was, what precipitated the decision as far as I know, it was kind of that there was the money in the budget at that point. And that's, I think, was it Parks or DPW got an extra person? Someone was hired in that department, and the fire was also hired. But it was based more on our budget at that point. That was a budget decision in this, but it was not, like you said, Julie. It was, we're just not fulfilling a position. But this past year, two of the people were actually in school. So it wasn't like they were always available. The new people were not actually.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I so appreciate the letters and the feedback from the public. That, I love being part of a representational government. This is America, and if people, they are working on the information that they have, right? And I'm not upset about it, but it does make me think that having an opportunity to communicate in statements and things externally, perhaps through a committee, might help with that.
And I looked it up. We are truly blessed to have a fire
Yeah.
department. A town of 6,000 across the state of Michigan, there are like, it's so low, the number. It's like 5 to 10 when I looked it up. To have a full-time, fully manned,
Yes.
paid with benefits. So we've been very fortunate to have what we have, but to add more to it
Yeah.
is probably not sustainable.
There's a phrase in
We're finding.
there's a phrase in education where we have Class A programming for a Class B school. And that's how I feel about Manistee. We have first-class employees and first-class programming. And Jim, I support questioning what's happening and look, because our future funding is not, I do not feel it's going to be as robust as it was this year. And 3 years from now, I think we're going to be looking at some very critical decisions being made by this council. So if we're going to be making those critical decisions, Jim, we should have all the information that we need from the source that we need it from. I agree.
Other questions, Jim?
Oh, that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Heather, please take roll.
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
No.
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. At this time, council could take action to approve the Downtown Development Authority's proposed budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Heather, is there any discussion on this one? Heather, will you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Notices, communication, announcements, there are none. Citizen comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The letter I received the other day with the red tag on it was in response, supposedly in response to my comments at the April meetings. The name was misspelled on here, so it isn't really me. And the letter really never got signed. Was generated by Gerald Blue, Community Development Director. Is that a separate department here in the, I don't know. So I thought, basically this is not a really response because it's not signed. Copies were sent to the city manager, mayor, and the zoning administrator. So apparently the council did not get a copy of his response. I don't know if that's SOP for the council or employee of the city. And basically, it says on the official letterhead, it says, "Soul of the water, spirit of the woods." Is that an official endorsement of Spirit of the Woods Club?
No, I don't think that was the intent.
It was confusing, so. Anyway, I hope this is pursued further, and I still have issues with this, so, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, I'm Steve. I signed up for the tree commission. Just want to know if I was supposed to be here tonight.
Steve, you should have received a call or an email. I think it was actually an email that you received from the manager's office that was postponed until the next meeting.
Till next month.
No, the next meeting. It'll be on the 19th.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Nothing, Kyle? Mr. Gamble?
I want to mention the Army Corps of Engineers, we've been in contact with them about the graffiti on the pier. They weren't able to get it with power washing, so they're going to be trying a chemical. So hopefully that gets resolved soon. It's quite extensive and upsetting. So just want to let you know we've been in contact with them and offered also to assist if they need assistance. So thank you.
Heather, anything? Chief? Ms. Rosca?
Okay, at the Ramsdale, Friday, 5 p.m., the Art of Tattoo exhibit opens. Please come. We're sponsored hors d'oeuvres and wine, so we'd like to see everybody here, everybody there. DPW isn't here, but I did appreciate them getting those bollards up around that porta potty so quickly. And we also, I received compliments on the paint job done on the benches along the river walk. So, that's it.
Mr. Grabowski?
I'm old enough. Okay.
Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
Pretty good. The only question, people are wondering about that gateway, just a quick update. Is there anything going? How are they had the groundbreaking, but then,
Yeah, I think the soil remediation is next. I don't have a specific timeline on that, but that's going to be the portion that's done next is removals.
I see the thing moves all the time, but I never see anybody in it.
and I think they're questioning the signage a little bit and stuff. They're anxious. They're supportive and anxious. That's it.
Ma'am?
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment and extend an apology to Heather Peffley on behalf of the council. I understand there were some comments made in the chambers here, and I feel that you deserve a public acknowledgement of all that you do, including the election from last night. Thank you. And to be publicly, we'd like to apologize for that, the entire council. So I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
We all do, Heather.
Thank you.
And kind of piggybacking on that, calling a city clerk a secretary is not disparaging to a secretary at all. I'm going to dumb it down into terms for me. I'm a police officer. There's also school crossing guards. They both do critical jobs, but they're monumentally different. And yes, you deserve an apology. And anybody that does not stoutly defend not calling you a secretary needs to be re-educated, because you are the glue that holds a lot of the city together. Thank you, Heather. Anybody else? Take a motion to adjourn?
No.
I'll make
Hold on a minute. I got something to say about that. I got a letter. I told that to Heather. I said, I got a letter from a woman, and I was just giving her the information the lady gave. If you want a copy of the letter, I'll give you the letter. But I never called you the secretary. In fact, she refers to you here as a city clerk. I didn't want anybody to be insulted. I just told you what this lady sent to me. That's all I was giving you. No, it didn't mean to get out going the way it went, but I can prove it, so.
So, Mr. Grabowski, you're saying you didn't, somebody's called Heather a secretary, so you're saying you did not, are those words that the public doesn't know why a secretary gets paid so much? You're denying making that statement?
The woman talked to me and called her that, but in the letter, she refers to her as a clerk.
So where did the secretary come from? Who called Miss Peffley a
When the
secretary?
lady called, and I talked to her.
So she called and sent you a letter?
Yeah. I'm not gonna go any further. It was just giving the information to Heather about raises.
Jim, thank you for that clarification.
Anybody else? Take a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.